Sergeant.
And Delwood, the Australian centre, starts this match. Australia playing from right to left in the first 15 minutes. This crucial match for both of these two teams. Vicky Wilson. Popping it over the top. Shelley O'Donnell and Vicky Wilson with their first shot.
Contact on the ball.
Yeah, notice they took their time getting the ball into Vicky Wilson. They wanted to start off, obviously, on a positive note and set the tone of the game. New Zealand will want to do exactly the same as well.
Leslie Nicoll at wing defence. And poor hands from Nolene Barnett. Mistakes like that were costly in the last 15 minutes against South Africa, and they will certainly be costly against Australia.
Yeah, notice there New Zealand adopting a one-on-one defence. I think both teams will be playing a very tight one-on-one defence.
Contact. Keeper. Penalty Australia.
The Irish umpire calling contact against the New Zealand keeper. And Nicole Cusack gets her first touch and her first goal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how much the umpires will allow advantage being played.
That's what we didn't see from Bernice Minnie yesterday, those characteristics intercepts of hers.
Brendan, if I could jump in, I don't know whether I'm welcome or not, but Jill McIntosh earlier this season did identify Bernice as one of the danger players for New Zealand, so Australia really have respectful eyes to her in defence.
Well, she'll be looking for a big game today, Yvonne, because she didn't really have a memorable one against Van Dijk yesterday, did she?
No, Bernice is known to go out and actually take the intercepts, and yesterday she really was pinned back with Irene Van Dijk, and she actually really stuck to the goal circle, and I believe she should have come out yesterday as well. I think the focus is too much in the goal circle, and I'm sure that Lee Gibbs has talked about this, and I think we'll see her come out far more.
So New Zealand still looking for their first goal. Australia ahead by 2-0, and we've had 2 minutes of play. Lovely pass to Vicky Wilson.
Contact.
Great pass, great straight line play.
Very good, confident start here by the Australians. Up by 3-0 after 3 minutes of play.
Good passing cut by Shortland.
New Zealand is on the board, but it's, as I said, taken in the best part of 3 minutes. A rare error from Vicky Wilson there. Her hands letting her down.
Yeah, Bernice Minnie called in for contact, elbows coming through. Oh,
that's why she's regarded as the best shooter in the world.
Yeah, and I believe she is too. I mean, her court play is excellent, and she's prepared to take the long shots.
Shortland replies with a confident shot for New Zealand. It's 4-2.
Better defence from New Zealand. Australia having to feed the back players. Oh.
How about that, Anne Sargent?
Oh, that's just a beautiful pass from Darwood. Eyes up to the back to the post, so I quite like that one. I was thinking, Yvonne, we haven't often sat together and actually been on the same team. It's quite uncanny.
Same team, different sides, bro.
Then you come out of court, pass or shot. Just here, please. Back a bit, thank you.
Well, the Australians have certainly not been tested here at these World Championships with runaway wins in all 3 of their first-round matches. And I imagine that may have been of some concern to the Australian camp, the fact that they hadn't been tested going into this match against New Zealand.
No, that's certainly something you'd like to have done, step out against at least a middle-paced team to test out how you work under pressure, because it's that decision-making under pressure that wins matches. Interesting, I really thought Nicole Cusack would be opening spaces for Wilson, but she's found a lot of space herself behind the New Zealand defence.
Australia leading by 6-3 here in this first quarter, coming to you live on One World of Sport. But a special word of welcome to all our viewers across Australia watching this telecast here in Birmingham on ABC television.
Contact shooter, penalty Australia. Advantage obstruction.
Simone McInnes at wing defence for Australia. With that overhead, almost cricket pass throw.
Notice Vicky Wilson prepared to come right out of the shooting circle to to help out. But good defence work from New Zealand. They actually slowed the Australian style right down. The one thing the Australians are very, very good at is the fast passing game. And New Zealand, on that occasion, did slow them.
Australia have made the better start. They lead by 4. And we've had 5 minutes of play in this first quarter. Judy Dawson today playing in her 11th test for New Zealand.
Advantage contact, play on.
And
Contact.
that will certainly be contact this time against Bernice Meni on Nicole Cusack. Ominously good start here by the Australians.
Contact goal defence, pass or
Yeah,
shot.
it looks a little bit more nervous from the New Zealand camp, but I'm sure they'll settle down pretty quick. Again.
Meni going for the intercept, but Wilson recovered well.
Contact, wing defence. Front of the circle. Advantage obstruction, shooter, goal defence.
Yeah, easy feeding shot, easy feeding space rather from the top of the circle. 2 players free to take the ball.
I think the danger sign is the number of shots Australia has had in good range to the post. We're more used to having to put up long-range shots because of being forced out by New Zealand, but I think the feeders really finding, particularly Cusack on the lead to the post. Wilson doing a lot of work out of the circle, as she said. Sometimes though she's being caught out a little early, but Cusack happy to pick up the load.
Yeah, actually, I think at the moment they're sharing the shooting as well, which is interesting because we've always rated Vicky Wilson as the one that is a stability right in the back. But no, she's prepared to just have a bit of a change in tactics. There she comes again.
Advantage contact, wing defence. New Zealand.
So a rare unforced error from the Australians, but they do have this 5-goal advantage midway through the first quarter.
New Zealand. Where you are. Play.
Barnett elected not to put up the shot from wide in the circle.
Yeah, that shot will have given her confidence. I mean, it wasn't a close range shot, and she was prepared to take it.
Wing.
Sandra Edge, who had a very quiet second half against South Africa yesterday, she will be looking for a better performance today. She was disappointed with her own form yesterday. And Barnett again.
Obstruction goal defence.
But the goal counts, obstruction call on the Australian goal defence. So New Zealand still trailing by 4. Correction, it's now 3. That 6th goal to New Zealand.
Advantage obstruction. Contact goalkeeper, pass or shot.
Yeah, Alice just really jumping a little bit too soon. It was a brilliant jump, but it was really on a 2-second, not on a 3-second call. Again, Australia electing to use the back people. Good defence from New Zealand. They thought they were going to get the umpire's call, then great pass in from O'Donnell.
Speed of the pass too quick for the New Zealand defence. Cusack under the goal, and Australia get their 10th goal of the match.
Yeah, Cusack at the moment actually is the dominant shooter in there. I find that quite interesting. You know, normally Wilson, and it's worked for them in the past, so I don't know what the game plan is there.
I guess, as you said earlier, they're sharing the leads quite early on, and often they might sit on the leads a lot longer, but I noticed Wilson after every couple really changing leads around, and perhaps the instruction from Jill McIntosh that all have got to be involved early on in the game. I guess it's not for the faint-hearted, is it?
No shortage of support here for the New Zealand team. Here at this massive indoor arena has capacity for 12,000 people, and we're told that it's sold out for most of the key matches here in the second round.
I think the other contrast in defence at the moment is that Australia's really working hard over the ball. They've obviously been sent out to sit 3 feet on the ball on every pass. New Zealand varying it far more and sagging back off it.
And the call going against Australia. Australian fans venting their wrath with that call.
And there you saw the traditional Shortland dodge. She's great on the baseline on a one-on-one situation.
New Zealand as close as they've been to Australia at any stage in this first quarter.
Yeah, neither team will want to get more than about 4 or 5 goals down because this is going to be a tough game right for the whole hour.
I was just going to ask how fit you are. Do you think it's going to be like Sydney again?
Well, it felt like Sydney here yesterday, Anne.
3 pass New Zealand. 3 pass. Contact got wing defence, penalty New Zealand.
Contact goes
outside
against
circle.
Simone McInnes on Sandra Edge, playing a wing attack today. Sandra Edge started the match yesterday at centre.
Contact goalkeeper, pass or shot.
Notice just playing the ball around until a position open up. You're quite clear, can hear the umpire's call, so the players can react instantly so that they can react to the umpire's whistle.
It's a good fight back here by New Zealand after being down by 5 goals. They've caught the Australians here as we enter the last couple of minutes of this first quarter.
I think Australia will be disappointed to, allow New Zealand back in at the end of this first quarter because it's been far easier traffic up Australia's end. New Zealand have really worked for it, but gosh, they've come back well.
Lovely ball. Barnett. Again, that tight marking from the Australians.
Yeah, but Shortler wasn't prepared to shoot that one. On another day, she would have shot that. So obviously, there is tension out there, and they want to make sure of every goal.
Ooh, Australia leading by 1 at 11 goals to 10. Vicky Wilson again. Quick hands there from Wilson. Cusack away. Converts it.
Yeah, good tactics by Australia, having both shooters doing equal part in the shooting because it means the defence players have to stay on both those players and they can't just sort of pin back on Wilson. So it is a good tactic.
Advantage contact, centre. Advantage contact on the ball. Pass or shot.
Yeah, New Zealand's got to clean that up. Got to be 3 feet.
Vicky Wilson, as we said, regarded as probably the best goal shooter in the world. What sort of form has she been in this year, Anne?
She's had a mixed season in that she played with the South Australian side for our National League, and they didn't enjoy too much success this year, so she had a tough time. But and of course, because she's so dominant, attracted quite a bit of attention from defenders. So I think there were times during early on in the season when she wasn't hitting her best. She then started to come through it again, leading into this. But I think, again, we're looking at players that are 10 days off what they wanted to put out.
Yes, the final, still the best part of 10 days away. And I'd have to say that there has been a lot of anger expressed to me here today by a number of people from both Australia and New Zealand, officials and supporters here at the way this draw has been scheduled, that these two teams are forced to meet so early in the championship. It's rather like seeing Becker, Agassi and Sampras all on the same side of the draw at Wimbledon. So a problem there for Liz Ellis, who played against New Zealand in the World Youth Final at Fiji back in 1992. So she's very familiar with the likes of Julie Dawson, Leslie Nichol, Belinda Blair, members of the New Zealand team who won that world title back in 1992. It's 13-11 here in the first quarter of this crucial second round match between Australia and New Zealand, and we're just a couple of minutes away from the end of the first quarter.
Penalty in New Zealand. Obstruction, pass or shot.
Vicky really working on the arm side of Taurua Barnett rather than front of goal.
It's developing into a classic Australia-New Zealand encounter. We had 3 of them last year in New Zealand, never more than a couple of goals in any of those 3 Milo tests. Australia winning the first 2 and New Zealand the last one. And nice work there indeed from Leslie Nichol, cleaning it up for New Zealand.
Contact keeper, pass or shot. Back where the keeper is, please.
And so a chance here for Tracy Shortland to put New Zealand on equal footing again.
Moving too soon, goalkeeper.
It's 13-all, tied up here in the first quarter.
Yeah, umpires also keeping very tight control of the game. Yeah, confident shot from Wilson, prepared just to take it from anywhere in the circle. New Zealand quite prepared just to pass the ball around. You'll see the triangle play, back to Sandra Edge and back in. Again, mistimed jump.
And a very important rebound right on the final moment of this spell, and an opportunity for Australia to post really a bonus goal here. She doesn't miss many. Vicky Wilson into the last 60 seconds of this first spell. Lovely work from Bernice Mini. And there we see these crazy freestanding goalposts. And goodness gracious,
Just hold it there. No.
this is just crazy.
It's with the shooter. Ball with
Every game we see players, particularly in occasions like that where the ball goes back, players, their heels crashing into those freestanding posts. You'd never see them in Australia or New Zealand, but I guess it's probably a statement on the state of netball and its development here in England.
Yeah, I guess in a way that Bernice Mini was lucky not to get caught for using the goalpost as a means of support. But a great take
Vicky
by
Wilson and the goalpost.
So New Zealand pulls one back in the dying moments of this spell. 15 all.
contact. Wing defence.
Oh, good defence from New Zealand.
Wing defence. Advantage contact.
Well,
wing
Blair
defence.
just dropping the head as the ball. I saw you move then. Head down.
And there it is. It's the end of the first spell, and it's been a nail-biting one as well. Goal for goal. Locked up at 15 all. Confusion in the last 60 seconds as to whether Australia had scored a 16th goal or not. But in fact, the check with the official scorers says no. Now there's Vicky Wilson, who's got a 100% shooting record from the first quarter. 9 from 9. And in fact, Cusack also 100%, 6 from 6. And well, it's not war, but it's certainly competitive down there.
Yeah, I think both players there were waiting for an umpire's call, but she just thought play would continue. It was interesting at quarter time. Both teams were, there it is again. Yeah, I think they felt that it was.
Poor old Liz Ellis. She's had her eyebrow taped at quarter time, and she comes out and walks straight into the wall of the New Zealand defenders.
Yeah, she's a tough character, though. She thought obviously there was a tie ball and she wasn't going to let go of it. Interesting though, at quarter time, both teams were in big huddles and both, very focused on the game, and certainly real tension out there.
New Zealand are playing from right to left in the second quarter. Have not been in front at any stage in the match yet.
I think what was interesting in the grabs you could get from those huddles, particularly from the Australian pack, was the emphasis on attacking netball. They're looking for 15 a quarter, so they really want to be on the attack, not just sitting back.
So, for the first time in the match, New Zealand with the lead.
Advantage contact. Wing defence.
Well, nothing succeeds like success, and newfound confidence in this New Zealand team, picking themselves up off the floor after the devastation of the surprise defeat at the hands of South Africa, who incidentally today struggled to beat St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In the finish, there was only 7 or 8 goals in it. Aside Australia beat by the best part of 70 goals earlier in the week.
Yeah, New Zealand's certainly playing with far more urgency in the game, and they're contesting every ball.
Shake of the head there from the New Zealand manager, Cheryl Wells. There it is, the first miss by either Australian shooter coming 3 minutes into the second quarter.
Yeah,
Edge and Barnett flying out to the ball.
Yeah, the game's been played at quite a pace right now, but, we're losing a little bit. There's a few unforced errors. They just need to tone down a little bit.
But New Zealand leading by 3 after they trailed throughout the entire first quarter. It's Australia with the intercept.
And New Zealand equal to the occasion. Good tight defence.
Look at this. Goals, a very rare commodity at the moment.
Penalty Australia.
Yeah, crowd not happy about that one.
Thank you, says Sandra Edge.
Well,
She is so quick.
yeah, I would have questioned that one, so that's 1 each, I suppose.
Contact. Shooter.
A bit like tennis this last few passages.
Well, I don't imagine these umpires, an English and Irish umpire, are used to games played at this sort of pace. Anne Curran, the Irish umpire, and Margaret Dayan from England. There, you see her at the top of the picture, who was one of the umpires involved in the New Zealand-South Africa match yesterday.
Yeah, there's a great play from Australia, prepared just to pass the ball around. Anne Curran's actually very experienced umpire. She's attended a number of world championships, and she has met both these teams before. So she will know what it's all about, and she also knows she's got to keep total control in this game.
I think we're in for a repeat of Sydney 1991 here.
I'm just pacing myself. Both teams, I think, playing a vastly different game to that in the first quarter. New Zealand in particular has lifted 50% in terms of confidence.
Contact. Pass or shot. Yep.
Yeah, they showed a lot of hesitancy to start with, and defensively for Australia, that's easy to read, easy to capitalise, but now they're just prepared to let the ball go.
1916, Nolene Taurua Barnett with the 86% success rate with the shooting in the first quarter.
Again, Vicky Wilson doing a lot of the field play.
Contact centre, penalty Australia.
And notice Australia really quick to take advantage of an umpire's call.
Touching goal defence.
1917, New Zealand leading Australia, and we are 6 minutes into the second spell, 9 minutes away from half-time.
Centre. Vantage contact, wing.
Not prepared to put up the shot, Nolene Taurua Barnett, and she may have lost it.
Well, I think
That's commitment.
I think it's slightly offside as well.
Pass or shot. Inside.
A daring shot, I was going to say that. I would have thought she would have passed that one out.
There's Jill McIntosh, coach of the Australian team.
Both shooters out of the shooting circle. You don't see that very often for Australia.
And back it swings again towards the centre. 1918, New Zealand by 1.
Yeah, both teams very aware they don't want to make any unforced errors because, boy, the other team's going to capitalise on it.
And suddenly, full time seems a long, long way away. Every goal vital.
Yeah, credit to Nicole Cusack then. Great baseline drive. Yes.
3 seconds.
I thought she
No
was
goal.
close on the last
she
shot.
can't
She was
believe
really
it.
sorting
She
out
can't
where New
believe it.
Zealand was placed, and that one came, I think, a goal too late.
So the goal doesn't count. It remains 1918. Held ball caught against Nicole Cusack.
And stepping called against Australia on that occasion.
And the Australian crowd not liking that one. They fancied it as fast feet, not as incorrect feet.
Australia.
Couldn't keep it in court. So Australia get the throw in.
Yeah, the bounce was the right option. It was just a little bit too fast, a little bit too much power behind it.
Contact goal defence, penalty Australia. Contact goal defence, penalty Australia.
Belinda Blair.
This difficult one. 2 shooters, 1 defence in the shooting circle.
Lovely hands from Cusack.
Didn't like the angle, though. And again, just prepared to play the ball around. Good triangle.
Obstruction, pass or shot.
So it's tied up again, and I imagine this won't be the last time the scores are tied in this match.
Vantage contact.
Oh, marvellous stuff.
Great understanding there. Off the fingertips.
Let's have a look at this again. This is netball at its best. The speed. And Bernice Minnie had no chance there.
Contact goal attack.
Yeah, the speed of the ball beat the opposition then.
Australia by 1. 4 minutes away from half-time.
Oh, well read by Alice.
Yes.
I mean, Edge then, you know, tried to do the con, looked one way, past another, but Alice equal to the task.
Well, thank goodness she was watching the body, not the eyes.
Shooter, penalty New Zealand.
She'll get another chance, though, I suspect.
Shortland there, coming right out of the shooting circle to bring the ball through.
Goal attack.
Goal attack called.
Advantage instruction.
Thank you, says Belinda Blair. Gets the intercept from Simone McInnes. But
Play on.
Great work there from Shelley O'Donnell, the Australian wing attack. Pulls it back for Australia.
Yeah, even considering they're actually doing a one-on-one marking, there's quite a number of intercepts being taken in this game. Far more, in fact, than yesterday. So I guess both teams prepared to look for the ball in flight.
Contact with defence, penalty Australia.
Wilson defers to Cusack. And Australia enjoying a successful passage in the second quarter.
Australia.
It's 15 all, remember, at quarter time.
Where you are. Play.
And Australia with a slight advantage here in this second spell.
Contact with defence, penalty Australia.
Just under 3 minutes away from the half-time break.
Contact keeper, penalty Australia.
Again, you saw Bernice Meany prepared to come all the way out, though.
Certainly the New Zealand side playing a lot better. They've certainly picked themselves up off the canvas, Yvonne, from where they were 24 hours ago.
Oh, definitely. You've got to give it to them for that. But I think they know that they sold themselves short, that they were capable of a lot better. So, you know, today's, well, it's a do-or-die effort, and you know, they know that. But they're experienced as well, you know, enough to do that.
Play.
Do you think having to play two really tough games like this back-to-back in 24 hours, fitness and strength could be a factor in the last quarter?
No, I think New Zealand's it's a fit team. I don't think that's a factor at all. You can look at it two ways. I mean, you can also say, you know, Australia hasn't had the tough games leading up to this, so, you know, time's going to tell on that one.
But playing the best two teams in the world virtually back-to-back, I'm sure they wouldn't do that at the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, but they would have learned from yesterday's game as well.
You're not touchy about the draw at all, are you, Brendan? I think we should feel cheated that we robbed of a semi-final, because I think in this level of competition, a crowd and television deserve to see a semi-final contest before a final.
Yes, and the other question that has been asked by a number of people today, why, for goodness sake, this match here between New Zealand and Australia? Why did it have to be the first match of the second round? Why not make it the very last match in a week's time, so these two teams would stay in the competition for another week? But as it is, the side that loses today probably will be able to do no better than third or fourth place.
I think that's the sad thing about it.
Yes, in a sense, they're playing probably for first and third place here today.
Yeah, and you know, both these teams have come obviously with an aim in mind and a goal in mind, and it certainly isn't for third placing.
However, it's certainly added spice to proceedings here in Birmingham.
Advantage contact, centre.
Every English player I've encountered today has had a smile a mile wide on their faces.
Yeah, we sort of forget a little bit about the other teams involved, but, you know, I think England's, looking pretty sweet at the moment.
Trinidad and Tobago, they wouldn't have been unhappy with that result yesterday.
No, it's certainly opened up the whole World Championships. I mean, we've always been saying, you know, it's going to be New Zealand-Australian final. You know, now there are a few other teams that are certainly contesting.
So there it is, 24-23 into the last few seconds of this second quarter. Yes, the victory of South Africa certainly prized the door open and rather debunked the myth that the World Championship was all about two teams. And look at this, a terrible fall there from Vicky Wilson.
Actually, I think it's a knee as well. As soon as she went down, she grasped her knee.
Yeah, you could see it before she hit the deck, and it was a shocking angle on the leg.
Here we see the replay.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious me, look at the pain that she was in as her legs went in different directions. Time out quickly, says Nicole Cusack. And a very sad moment here at the World Championships. Certainly, Vicky Wilson will take no further part in this match. So Jennifer Borlase comes on at goal shoot for Australia. And we make it about 20 seconds left in the match. In this quarter, 20 seconds until half-time. And Australia ahead by 1, 24-23.
It'll be interesting to see how quickly she settles into the position, because there's no way she would have been expecting for this to happen.
Borlase is a pretty cool customer, and I think she'll settle in quickly. I think more than anything, the shockwave of Wilson actually being in a lot of bother will upset the Australians.
Well, Borlase will at least have the opportunity to gather her thoughts during the half-time break, as the optimistic pass there from Sandra Edge goes out of court, and that is half-time here in Birmingham in the match between Australia and New Zealand, separated only by a goal. Julie Dawson with the centre pass for New Zealand. Just what effect will the omission from the court of Vicky Wilson have on this Australian side?
Yeah, they've got one or two ways to go. Obviously, they can have that reliance on her, and they can have that feel of losing it, or they can really rally together as a team and basically show that they're quite capable as a team of 7 or a team of, 12 players here. Any player can take the court and do the job justice.
New Zealand quickly back on equal terms with Australia. But I wonder what's going through the mind of Jennifer Borlase, realising the enormous responsibility that she suddenly acquired out of the blue.
Doesn't concern me as much about Jennifer Borlase. I think she'll slot in really well. It's more the point Yvonne was making. If the other 6 on court really have the confidence to take the game in hand, and you expect that sort of courage from both Australia and New Zealand to fight hard for the one they've lost.
Well, might we see more attempts put up from Cusack, I wonder?
I think so. She's very used to playing with Jennifer Borlase, and I think Jennifer would have realised that the leads have been shared, and Cusack's in a nice flowing game, and she won't want to disrupt that. They've really got I think a lot rests with Dalwood in involving Borlase in the game and really having the confidence to fire a few in at her.
Yes.
Once again, the scores are tied. 2 minutes into the third quarter.
Yeah, short on that occasion, just waiting for Alice to do the jump before taking the shot. Good defence. Australia having to look for players at the moment. Oh, long bounce pass, far too intense. Good defence work by New Zealand.
So we haven't seen Borlase with the ball yet. She hasn't had an opportunity to put a shot up in the remaining few seconds of the second quarter or in the first 2.5 minutes of this spell.
Contact keeper, goal defence, pass or shot. Stand still, please, goal defence.
Notice the umpire calling then the player to stand still. If a penalty is to be taken, the player must stand beside and away from the player with the ball until the pass or the shot's been released.
26-25. And paucity of goals in that second quarter.
Very fortunate, and that was a step on Sandra Edge. She really wanted to offload and had nowhere to go, and she was very clever in playing it and questioning about the penalty.
Yeah, I thought she was a bit lucky. Might have been caught for hell ball on that occasion. Hell ball called then, though.
Against Nolene Taurua Barnett. Full credit to the Australian defence, however. As the long ball goes up, as again...
Yeah, the idea was right. Idea was right, but the timing was just a little bit out.
And there she is, the 27-year-old from Adelaide, from the Garville Club, teammate of Michelle Filkes. So 6 minutes away from three-quarter time, just over 21 minutes of this match remaining.
Yeah, both teams now really just looking for mistakes. I mean, I think the team that's going to make the least amount of errors is going to come through in the end.
Another turnover for New Zealand.
And boy, are those shots going to count.
I think so. I was just about to say we have lost the combination in goals, and it saddens me to say it, but there isn't the movement and the understanding we saw in the first half. Hopefully it will build for Australia across the remaining quarter. But there is just that something lacking, and goals have got to go in from now on. That's when you show your worth as a shooter, when you're running it down to the last quarter and they start to stick.
Cusack elects not to shoot.
Didn't have a lot of options onto her, though.
And the in-out just gets her a little closer to the goal. And Australia by 1.
Shorten coming right out of the circle then.
New Zealand.
Open up the play.
Oh, great shooting from Nolene Taurua Barnett. She's still got plenty of confidence with her shooting when you can put them up from there.
She was always going to shoot that. She didn't even look to pass it.
Interesting, Yvonne, with both teams still locked. Apart from the injury change, there's been no move to swing something into the line. Can you read Lee Gibbs going into the last quarter?
I don't know. This is a tough one. I think she'd have to stick with the same combination.
Well, if we go back to the match against South Africa, New Zealand were trailing by 6 goals going into that last quarter, and she didn't make a change. Stayed with the same 7.
Yeah, you can look at it two ways. You can either add fresh legs and a slight change in tactics, or this is a tried and true combination. And it is working.
It's the old Lois Muir rule of thumb. Fresh set of legs. Takes a lot of beating.
Yeah, good rebound from Australia.
Advantage obstruction shooter.
Australia leading 31-30, and we're 4 minutes and 27 seconds away from three-quarter time. Oh, goodness gracious, that was like a bouncer.
Notice Sandridge having to come up mid-court for a lot of ball. Yeah. Credit to Australia on that occasion, and it was very tight marking. New Zealand really being caught then having to look for players. They'll need to do a bit more movement to make the space for themselves. Can't get caught standing against the Australians. Misunderstanding.
So many unforced errors here, which I guess is just an indication of how intense it is down there.
Well, I think, again, it was the fact that there weren't the options there. Mene was doing a great job on ball A. She really had us sewn up, so the option to the post didn't exist. Shortland dodges counted as a tripler.
Yeah.
Oh, they're sinking sweetly for Noeline now. A danger sign for Australia, I think, that Noeline's coming through with such confidence.
Yeah, Tara Barnett's actually taking a lot more dominance in the game. Shortland's coming out, and then Tara Barnett's going back into the shooting circle.
And again, the pass goes astray.
Yeah, Boulez then was going to do a dodge, but dodged the wrong way.
Be interesting to see if Jill McIntosh perhaps swings the shooting combination, perhaps sit Cusack back, who's got the movement and who's pretty slick off the mark, and let Boulez open the top of the circle to see if they can get the timing back.
Again, New Zealand prepared to play the ball around.
Shooter, penalty Australia.
And the contact called against Tracy Shortland. She thinks it's a tough call.
Back, ladies, goal third, please. Goal third, please, ladies. Goal third.
It remains 31-all here in this second round match between Australia and New Zealand.
Both shooters out.
And they're just not able to find Jenny Boulez, so it's really restricting their options in attack. And it's Cusack, as is the case with New Zealand. The goal attack's doing the lead.
A sure sign of how intense things are coming here at Birmingham is the fact that the crowd has become very silent. They realise as we get closer to full time that this is going to be a nail-biter.
You also think that they're actually watching the game, just seeing what is developing. Because it is tight out there.
I'm just thinking maybe the best place to be in the next 15 minutes is where Julie Townsend, our commentator, is on an Air New Zealand flight somewhere between Auckland and Heathrow.
Totally unaware what's happening, yeah. It was a hesitant shot from Cusack then, though. I mean, she waited for the defence player to do the lean or the jump, but, you know, credit to her, it still went through.
So they have the centre pass and an opportunity here to build at least a 3-goal lead going into that final quarter, but not with passes like that.
Yeah, I think that was tipped by New Zealand, though, with the Australia's ball. No.
Screamer from Darwin.
Oh, lovely work there as Boulez finds the space.
This will be the first time either team's really had a break going into the quarter.
That's right, it was tied at 15-all at quarter time, only 1 goal between the teams at half-time. And now Australia with this 3-goal lead. Opportunity here in the last few seconds for New Zealand. They've got to put the shot up.
Obstruction, pass or shot.
The goal counts.
Boy, Shortland had done a lot of work on that occasion. She had 2 people marking her, and she was busy doing the dodge and making space for herself. And they still managed to get the ball to her.
34-32 to Australia.
Oh, nicely done. Up to go back. Made the space for herself.
And the lead again is 3 to Australia. Still time for maybe one more opportunity for New Zealand. The timekeeper is on, and this will be it.
Yeah, New Zealand want a quick goal here, as you can see. Bit of urgency.
Too late. At three-quarter time, Australia have a 3-goal advantage going into the last 15 minutes of this match. They lead 35-30. And it's a replacement in the form of Karen Jerem that has come on for Tracy Shortland, which is a very interesting decision made by Lee Gibbs, because Shortland, who had a 100% shooting record in that third quarter, but I have a feeling that maybe her foot is not 100%, the blistered foot that was such a problem yesterday. And Australia quickly build their lead to 4.
Yeah, Jerem want to settle in pretty quick. I mean, she is capable of taking long shots and close ones. Here she's already getting involved in the action. They're still having that role reversal. Now an interchange. Let's see. No, not prepared to take the long shot, however. Obviously wants to settle in with a good shot to start off with.
So it's a very big task here for Karen Jerem, coming on cold for this last vital 15 minutes. Possibly the most important 15 minutes in the careers of this young New Zealand team. Their whole World Championship campaign resting on what they can do over the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, Sandra Edge, true to the cause. Now, New Zealand in the final quarter against South Africa yesterday came on really, really strong. So let's see if they can turn around and do the same again today. Quick to the loose ball there.
Barnett. 80% in the third quarter and 1 from 2 in this final spell. 36-33, 13 minutes of the match remaining. It dribbled in the end, but they all count. And these, what's the call?
Yeah, I don't know why the umpire didn't just play advantage then. It was Australia ball. They had it cleanly.
So that's a big intercept for Australia. And Bernice Minnie nearly pulls one back for New Zealand. Yes, they get the penalty.
She had good position, good front position under that ball.
Just moved at the wrong moment.
Look at this. You think it was the crown jewels.
Listen, all position in this quarter, all position in this quarter is vital. And so are the errors. Now, Australia definitely want to capitalize on this one.
A very distinctive sling pass of the Australians.
Yeah, look at the long pass. New Zealand's got to tighten up that defence now.
Lovely sure pass there from Shelley O'Donnell. Finds Jennifer Borlase. And Australia have built a 5-goal lead. And they have the centre pass.
Contact goal defence, penalty Australia.
Confidence really building here. Borlase is far more integral in the game, and the movement's starting to come between her and Cusack. And Jill McIntosh, I think, is showing great confidence to give her the chance to develop.
Right, interesting call then. Borlase, as she took the ball and she lifted it up, she actually played it into the hands of a New Zealander, so it was actually contact against her. Don't actually get that call very often in the game.
I think there was actually one earlier against Tyrell Barnett. Similar situation. Oh, she's enjoying putting them. It's almost like a shot put.
Certainly taking dominance out on the game. I mean, she's not the tallest thing out there, but boy, is she nippy. She'd come up, you know, for the pass, then back in there for the shooting circle.
And good work there by Liz Ellis as she gets a tip to that pass, but New Zealand will have the throw in. Trailing by 4 goals. 11 minutes and 20 seconds left of the match.
Yeah, Tara Barnett was the most valuable player yesterday, and boy, she's certainly leading again out there today. She's really taking on the responsibility.
So back it comes to 3 now. I guess for New Zealand, the key is here to try and break these Australian centre passes. Get a few turnovers.
Close to hell ball then, I tell you. Forced to take a long shot.
But it was good. Rising to the occasion splendidly, Jennifer Borlase.
Yeah, this is a hard act because New Zealand, obviously, they've got to stay tight marking, but they also need the ball. So they've got to take opportunities and seize them. Neither team really can afford to play safety netball. They've got to take their opportunities. Missed time jump. Great shot.
Didn't matter. Tyrell Barnett. A few bruises on her arms as well. Plenty at stake in this match, remember. The side that loses is virtually out of these World Championships. Although we should point out that technically the side that loses still has an improbable chance of making the final. If Australia win and New Zealand lose, Australia would need to lose at least one of their remaining 5 games, and New Zealand win them all to have a chance of making the final.
Which would make Jamaica quite important in the whole formula. As you said earlier, New Zealand drawn to play Jamaica tomorrow. Jenny Borley is looking really comfortable now. She's slotted into the role left by Vicky Wilson well.
Lovely work there from the Australian captain, Michelle Filkey.
It was an interesting intercept. It was actually taken over the head of attacking player. I wouldn't mind seeing that one on a replay.
Tipped out of the hands of the Australians, and away come the New Zealanders, driving into the top of the circle. But that's where the momentum is arrested by the Australian defenders. This tight marking again.
Australians quick to split when they have a shooter driving the base.
Yes, she's right on form at the moment. Exactly what New Zealand needs. But time is running out. 8 minutes and 50 seconds left. And Australia still clinging to this 3-goal advantage.
It was an interesting little centre pass off.
Tipped away by Bernice Minnie. Poor old Lee Gibbs. What a 24 hours it's been for her.
Yeah, Bernice, rather than tipping it, she really needs to take the ball with 2 hands.
Quick work.
Oh, hesitant shot. Yep, similar thing as was called before.
The English umpire really looking for that call now. She's pulled it a few times.
The Australian shooter's going to have to stay on the spot rather than taking that small step inwards.
Again, a lucky break there for New Zealand.
Oh, that I was about to say that was for the break.
That was a big miss there for New Zealand at 40-37. A very big miss.
Boy, Australia having to play the ball behind. Tight defence from New Zealand. Look at this.
I was about to say I'm waiting to see one of these black guys scream through for an intercept now with all that pressure up high. It was nearly there.
Offside. Contact shooter, penalty New Zealand.
Doesn't count the goal. Contact called against the shooter. Jennifer Borlase off the ball.
Well, it's not the time in the match Australia want to see the whistle turn around. There's been quite a few calls now against Australia's attacking move. As that one sits sweetly for Karen German.
That's the Karen Jerem.
Yeah, New Zealand centre pass off as well. Opportunity to get 2 goals back.
What's the call?
The New Zealand ball, I'd say.
Yes, out off the Australian goalkeeper's arm and topping again. Yes!
Yeah. See, she's now prepared to shoot from far out. She is a great shooter.
Elisa Taringa, Anna Robury offering encouragement to their teammates from the bench as New Zealand claw away at this advantage Australia have held for most of the second half of the match.
Yeah, off the foot of a New Zealand defender, I'd say.
6 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. Australia leading by 1.
O'Donnell's put some great ball into the circle. It really explodes out of her hands.
Yeah, she also really is driving onto that circle edge well too. Again, New Zealand's prepared to come out. No.
But the whistle had gone. Yes, the call goes.
No, against the shooter.
Goes against Nolene Toro-Barnett.
Yeah, the umpire indicating the elbow, so obviously she was trying to make space for herself, but was doing it with the arms instead of with the legs. Again, Australia just looking around for play.
It's 41-39 to Australia.
Offside centre, free pass inside the circle.
Yeah, I think you'll find that the umpire's going to be pretty well involved, and their calls are going to be crucial in this game. In this final few minutes.
Can this New Zealand team turn this 2, or is it about to become a 3-goal? No, it's still a 2-goal advantage as Manny dives on the ball, scooping up the loose ball for New Zealand.
That's good work from Blair. She really held off the shot and made Cusack really think about it. Put the doubt in the mind of the shooter.
No problems from there for Karen Jerem. It's back to a 1-goal ball game.
Yeah, don't write off these New Zealanders. Look at that bench.
Even the highest levels of management of Netball New Zealand are getting down there and giving the New Zealanders every encouragement.
Just well, they haven't got microphones on.
Now, what's the call here?
Contact against Tara Barnett. Boy, both teams going for everything at this stage. Yeah,
3 seconds, says Margaret Dayan against the Australian. Held ball.
And Australia told to quickly release the ball, holding on to it too long. Great defence from New Zealand.
4 minutes and 47 seconds left. New Zealand trailing by 1. Shelley O'Donnell called for contact.
Be interesting, and I'm not suggesting this is a reason for it, but it would be interesting to see the penalty breakdown from the English umpire compared to other quarters, because I think if you looked at the 2 Australian quarters where they've had her in the attacking end, she's really pulled it out this time compared to the other quarter.
Sandra Edge trying to find great pressure from Australia. Edge gives away the ball.
Wilkie really leading with the captain's intercept then. It's got to be backed up by the attacking line.
Contact shooter, penalty.
Oh, that's a call they don't need. What are you smiling for? I want to go.
They have to react to the umpire. On that occasion, she was basically deemed to be coming back into the defence player. Defence player held the ground.
Got to give me a break here, Anne. I've been through this twice in 2 days. It's 41-all, and the New Zealanders sense that they're back in this match.
Well, having now the centre really gives them the edge. No pun intended.
But look at the Australian markers. Look how tight it is.
Yeah, they don't want to give anything away. Over the top should be called. Advantage being played.
Down go the 2 Australians.
Oh, what
but
a reaction.
Alice, up she comes. And New Zealand, for the first time since half-time, in front is Tracy Fair, the former New Zealand captain, on her feet waving the New Zealand flag.
Contact centre, penalty Australia.
This would be one of the great days in New Zealand netball if they can pick themselves up off the canvas and win this match today. There will be no extra time if the scores are tied at the end of 60 minutes. A draw counts. That's 2 points for a win and 1 for a draw in the second round of this championship. Maybe a draw would be the best result.
That was just a magnificent ball and was rewarded with the goal.
Yeah, very confident pass into the shooting circle then.
43-42. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Goal third, ladies.
Australia really need to retain their composure.
Oh, should have looked in there. Player was free. They're really hesitant at the moment.
Yeah, again, hesitancy on the move, and Cusack, I think, stopped on her lead. She's got to keep offering that movement for the Australian circle to work.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether she'll take the shot or elect to pass it in.
Over there, please, ladies, on the edge.
We're under 2 minutes away from full time. New Zealand leading by 1. 43-42.
Australia doesn't seem to be in any urgency at the moment. There's not a lot of time left for them.
Good shot under pressure from ball layers.
And for the umpteenth time in the match, the scores are tied. New Zealand have the centre pass.
And New Zealand has the advantage because it's their centre pass off after the game's drawn. So they've always got the upper hand.
That's something we've learned to expect with these two teams. When they get locked goal for goal at world titles, you find yourself drawn to who has the centre at the right time.
Oh, call going against New Zealand.
Against New Zealand. Australia have the opportunity now. 69 seconds left on the clock. 1 goal will do it for Australia. Cusack, yes.
Oh, and it's Australia's centre pass as well. New Zealand needs to break this.
It's do or die for New Zealand now.
Contact wing defence, penalty pass Australia.
We're into the last 60 seconds. Australia with a 1-goal advantage. New Zealand need a turnover desperately.
Contact goalkeeper, pass or shot.
And contact against Bernice Menny. These are nails in the New Zealand coffin, I'm afraid to say. 45-43. 40 seconds left on the clock. Karen Jerem keeps it alive for New Zealand.
Yeah, they'll want to quickly get that ball back to the centre pass off.
Hurry up,
Australia in no hurry
again,
whatsoever.
Australia told to quickly get into the centre circle. Yeah, Australia's not in any hurry. New Zealand's got to go all out for this one.
Well,
Exactly what happened 4 years ago in Sydney.
Well, they won't freeze the ball, but they'll certainly be cautious in offloading it.
And Borlase, big shot from Borlase.
Oh, chance for New
Here's New
Zealand.
Zealand's chance. Here's their big chance, but it's too late. It's all over. Australia have snatched a dramatic victory, 45-44. A heartbreaking match for New Zealand. Their second in 24 hours, beaten by Australia 45-44. And your heart has to go out to this New Zealand team.